Hello and welcome back to compiler programming. With the tokenizer being ready to process pretty complicated inputs, I think we are almost ready to move on. And the one last thing I want to do with the tokenizer is make sure it actually can report errors in something that is a bit more human readable and also recoverable than just an assertion. So first of all, that means that we will need to change the return type from a pointer to a token to maybe a custom type that we will call tokenization result. Type def struct tokenizer result, and it will contain a pointer to root, and it will also contain actually let's make it some type, so we'll say it will be actually a union. It will either contain a root or it will contain a list of errors. And this list of errors it's also something we need to figure out what it will be. So array tokenizer errors. Okay. Now we also need to have a tag, and so let's just create one. Type def struct. Actually, that's an enum. And enum tokenizer result type, and type failure, and type, or we can call it error, or we can call it OK or success. Okay, so we now can add this here, tokenize type, and we say type. Okay, now we just need to figure out what this tokenizer error is. So this is also something we'll need to create. Tokenizer error, and it needs to have several things. Well, for one, it needs to have a message, and I guess we'll just do const char message, and we will also need to tell where it actually is. So which file, which line, and which column it is on. And this is also something I would like to extract into a separate struct, because we can also probably use it in other places later on. So we can say something like source location, and this is actually, let's not use, just thinking if I want to use C strings here or slices like we do over here. Well, let's start with C strings and then we think if that's a good thing or not. So const char star file name, const, and we also have u64 line and u64 column. Okay. We might consider to put file name not here but on a separate thing, but let's just start with this thing right now. So source location, and we say location, and now we can do type def dynamic array type of tokenizer error array tokenizer error. Okay, let's see what we have here. This needs to be a comma, not a semicolon, and here I'm missing a semicolon. Okay, so we are done with the data types. Let's start replacing this stuff. So first of all, this turns into a tokenizer result. And that obviously breaks off all our tests and also breaks stuff here. So here we say now tokenizer result, and type is tokenizer result type success, and we say root is root. Okay, so this file should be fine now. Now we need to change our tests, and this is pretty straightforward. So we will need to change this line everywhere, and now this line will say something different. So it will be tokenizer result. Result is tokenize of source. We check that result type is tokenizer type success, and then we say root is result.root. So let's check that this test is correct. Tokenizer result type. Okay, so now we can take these and more or less copy paste it. We can also extract it into a function or into macro, but for now, let's just deal with it like so and see if our tests are still passing. They are. So that's very nice. Okay, now let's try one of the error cases and figure out what we will say when this doesn't happen. Okay, so let's do that. It should report a failure when encountering unbalanced or unclosed or non-closed, I'm not sure what the right English for that would be, a brace that is not closed. Okay, so let's try that. We will take, I guess, this stuff, use it here, and we'll just say we open this and say foo and don't close it. So we say that result type is tokenizer result type error, and we also want to know where it happened. So in order to know where it happened, we need to also change the tokenize function itself, and we need to tell it what is the file name that we are dealing with. So let's do that, and we say file name, which again means we need to change some stuff. And in particular, it will be something like test s. Okay, so this will need to propagate. Oops. Okay. Okay and okay. And we now need to say that what? Well, check that result errors, or in particular we want to know the length of that. So the array length of result errors is 1. Then we say that tokenizer error is the first error. And we want to check that strcmp of error location file name is this stuff, right? Is a 0. And we want to check the actual offset. So we need to say error location line is 1. So for user reporting, we use 1 indexed usually. And column is, so this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we are here, right? We are at the very end and we realize that there is an unclosed brace. So, so the column is going to be 4. What is the message? Mostly for now, we can probably say something like unexpected end of file. It's not very informative, but this is okay for now. So error message is end file. Okay. This needs to be a dot, and dot. That's good. The whole topic about error messages is a very complicated one because it takes a lot of effort to gather up and keep all the necessary information and provide really good error messages. So that's something it just requires a lot of patience and a lot of development. So I definitely don't want to go too deeply into that, other than just saying that you should definitely pay attention to the error message you provide. Okay, so if we try to run the test now, it will be an assertion, right? And we want to turn this assertion into an error. So if we say if parent is not root, then we need to do stuff. Well, the first stuff that we need to do is, I guess, like so. Type error and we need to do some stuff. I guess the better way would be to create that array. So let's do it this way. Array tokenizer error. So we'll create array right at the top. And at the bottom, we will just check are there any errors. And if there are, we return this array. Otherwise, we return success. So it's a in array, make array tokenizer error. Okay. In here, we'll just say the array push of errors and then tokenizer error. And here at the very end, we say if of errors, then we will return an error, otherwise we will return success. So this is pretty straightforward and I like this. Errors. Okay, we push an error, so we need file name. That's pretty straightforward. It is this file name. As far as location go, this is a bit more complicated. Actually, no, this is a message. So the file name goes into here. Message is unexpected end of file. Actually, we could provide a better message. expected closing brace. And we should actually provide which brace, but for now, that's okay. I don't want to go into whole SN printf and all this just right now. Okay, this sounds good. What are you unhappy with? Location. Okay. Here goes the file name. And then we need line and column, right? And we don't know either of those. So this is something interesting to think about. How do we deal with this? So how do we know line and the column? And basically, it comes down to one of two options. Option number one is we do know our current index. In the case here, this is just the end of the input. If we come across one of these errors, then it is going to be somewhere in the middle, and we do know the index. So what we could do is we could take that index and basically go through the whole input again and figure out what is how many lines are we going through and count this there. That's okay. It uses, I guess, a bit less memory, but it is at the same time a bit like it still requires the logic of going through the string and counting lines. Since we have this one generic loop that goes all over the input, we could actually implement this logic over here. And in particular, we could even simplify the logic here, because what we could be doing is we could have this normalization of different lines up in the loop, and here we would end up with just the /n. So this is something to consider, and I think this is the option I'll go to. So here we'll just leave this /n, and we will move this logic over here. And we say if ch is /r, then what do we do? Well, if the next one is /n, then we just continue, right? We just ignore that /r ever happened. So this is one thing, and which actually might mess with this stuff, but we can change how we deal with this later. This is also fine. So if it is if the next one is /n, then we just skip. Otherwise, we overwrite characters and say, actually, it was /n instead of /r. And this allows us to normalize the line index. At least I think it should. Now we can say if ch is /n, we will create two variables, line 1 and column 1. Actually, column might be 0 better. And here at the very start we say, actually probably after here we say column ++, and if ch is /n, then line plus plus. Actually, if we, yeah, so we can do something like this, right? If we come across a new line, we reset the line, we increase the line count, and we reset the column to be 1. Otherwise, we do plus plus. Yeah. That sounds okay to me. Let's see if this works, and if we haven't broken this stuff here. I don't think so, because we actually don't test for /r/n, but we could add a test for that. And here now, we simply say this is a line and a column. So that builds, but the question is, does it work? We still have this stuff here, which we need to get rid of. And it does. So this is pretty cool. Now, what else do we need? Well, I guess I want to take this stuff and create another one and say push error. And then we say, just take this and say push error. Actually, before we do that, I want to extract the message. So this is how it will look like. We say push error and then provide a message, and it will automatically capture the current location, which will be pretty handy. Let's define this macro, push error, and it will be message. And here's our okay, /////. Okay, let's recheck that it was fine. It wasn't, because I forgot one slash. Unexpected, yeah. There should be no semicolon here. And also here I should remove a semicolon to force one to be written by the user. And now it is pretty straightforward. When we encounter an error, we should just abort a loop and go to the end. Unfortunately, in C you can't really abort the loop if you are inside of a switch statement, because break will refer to the switch, not to the loop. So we need to have another goto, and we say end. Or yeah, like so. So here say if not parent. So what does it mean that there is no parent? Well, that means that we again have a closing brace that actually does not have an opening brace. So let's say exactly that. So we say push error encountered a closing brace without a matching open one. Okay, and we say go to end. That's good. We here say very easily unexpected input, right? Or actually like this. We don't need an if not parent. And here we say what we said before, an assert. Actually, this one I will keep an assert, because this is really an internal problem. it's not something with parsing that we would expect. Here we do this. So if state is tokenizer string, then we would report an error. Otherwise, we will do something else. And expected and double quote. Okay, so that is good. And let's run the test. Now that's basically it. I guess one last thing I want to do is I want to show that now with this done, we can actually have a pretty nice error printing code. So let's create a function like print message with location, and we say that it's gonna accept a message and it will accept location. So source location star location. And we say printf %s. I just need to remember what is the format. I guess it's something like this: %LLU colon %LLU and this and %s. Okay, so at the start we will print a file name. So we say location file name, then we say location line, location column, and finally message. Yeah, it doesn't know what printf is, so stdio h, I think. No? Yeah, that should be, okay. It's complaining actually against the function. Yeah, it doesn't know what printf is. It's just a void. No? Yes. Okay, it didn't save it in time. Okay, still fine. And just to try it out, we can say print message with location, and we say error message, error location. Actually, a pointer to error location. Here we go. I think we want /n at the end. Yep, here's our message. So now we can, once we hook it up to actually reading the file and like the outer loop that deals with the whole compilation process from reading the file to producing the code, we will be able to very nicely report to our users what is going on and where is their error. And with that, that will be it for today. Thank you very much for watching and hopefully see you next time.